The Week with Ben Ellis.
This is Switch.
Okay, thanks very much, Ben. And I'm here with the lovely Karkosa. Hi, guys.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Hi. So, for those who don't know who you are, do you want to introduce yourselves and just let the listeners know who and what you play?
Hi, so we are Karkosa, based in Birmingham. I'm Michael, and I play the guitar and also sing on vocals.
I'm Jack, and I play the drums.
I'm Brandon and I play bass.
And I'm Pete and I play trumpet and a bit of keys.
And do we have anyone missing?
Yeah, so we also have Tom, who plays lead guitar, and Will, who plays the keys, but unfortunately they can't join us tonight.
That's okay. All right then. So Karkosa, interesting name. I like it. So I've known you for about 18 months now, isn't it? Since you came out to the Switch studio back in the day. Lots happened since. But just for the listeners, can you just give us a bit of background on what you've done so far as a band?
Yeah, so I guess we'll start off with the beginning of the year. We did a really huge headline show based in Birmingham at Mummaroo's. That was pretty much the highlight of the year. And then unfortunately everything kind of went crashing down from there onwards because of this global pandemic. We luckily got to go to New York just before we went into lockdown here in UK. So that was quite nice for the New Colossus Festival. But obviously because of everything that was going on, we didn't really get to experience most of the festival. But it was still a nice trip. And since then, we've just sort of been working on music, waiting for our initial return to gigs, really.
Waiting for the relaunch.
Yeah.
So I noticed on your social platforms that you put that you're in a bit of a hiatus just before lockdown, I think, wasn't it? What happened there then?
Yeah, so I think there was a lot of changes going on in our lives, especially my own, where we kind of just found it quite hard to do much with Karkosa. It wasn't so much this is the end of it. It was more just like let's figure our lives out and then get back to it in the meantime. Because obviously with the global pandemic, it was quite hard to rehearse anyway. And then when things released a bit more, we were able to rehearse and bring Brandon into the band and start introducing some new songs. And I just had some personal things going on in my life as well, which kind of led for a bit of a break. But recently we've got back into it, and or at least until the lockdown, of course, we were able to rehearse some more. I've actually been writing quite a lot of new songs recently as well, and looking forward to bringing that to the band. And we've also got a gig coming on December 12th, which is going to be really exciting. Hopefully, as long as it all comes off.
Where is that gig?
That's at the Dark Horse in Moseley. It'll be our first time playing there. But it's sold out, which is pretty cool.
I know.
First ever seated gig. It's going to be different, but we're hoping to do one other one closer to the time as well, but still working out the details on that one. So
okay, well let me know.
Yeah.
I went to a gig, managed to slip in one gig, and that was with Naomi Dawes and Martin Yates, which was honestly to watch live music again since the first time since February, March was brilliant. And you could tell they were actually quite emotional as well. So it's quite liberating to get back on stage. So I bet you can't wait. So let's have a look at Jack, you play drums on the bands then, and you guys are brothers, so there's no getting away from it there.
Yeah.
Bless. And Peter, you came along and joined the band a little later, and you play the trumpet, which has really added to the sound, to be honest, hasn't it? So have you got anything to add to Michael's intro or history of the band? How have you found it?
It's been great. So me and Mike and Tom, we all knew each other from birth, so that's how I joined the band. And I've always been a supporter of the band and like gave input whenever it's been asked. And that was, I think there was a mini tour they wanted to go on, and I was invited. And I think it just went from there. I was like, I'll become an official member, and it's been great ever since. It's just great to be with your mates and just,
having fun and doing what you know
from like an age. It's just great. Yeah, and it's just nice to have a good time. Hopefully, we'll be able to get on stage soon and
that's it.
Prat around
again, yeah. And you, Brandon, so you came along and you played bass. Have you got anything to add? Have you done anything else?
I've played in previous bands, and when our band started, to say break up, that's when I was putting out ads and everything to find another band, and that's when I started speaking to Mike around. I think it was in the middle of lockdown, weren't it? The first lockdown.
Well, yeah, it was during lockdown. We were looking for a replacement on the bass, as that was when Isabel told us that she was going to be parting ways. And so I started looking straight away, and we came across Brandon online. And I sent him the songs, and he came back with. I just remember you were really committed to it, and just played the songs really well, and we got along really well as well. We rehearsed pretty much when lockdown started to release a bit, just the three of us. So that was quite cool.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool. So, lockdown, how have you had to adapt? Because obviously creatives, at first it was a real shock to the system not being able to go live or not to perform live. And that's really that put the brakes on a lot of releases and a lot of festivals, obviously. And that means the experience of live performances have come to a bit of a halt. So what have you done differently during lockdown to make sure that you're still relevant, you can still reach out to an audience?
Yeah, so obviously lockdown kind of put pretty much hosted the brakes on us, really, as we had a lot of plans throughout the year. We were in fact going to play at a festival called Camper Calling, for example. We had a lot of other gigs lined up, and all of those got cancelled, and unfortunately came to a stop until further notice. So we've just kind of kept on working on songs, rehearsed when possible, whenever we're available. We briefly got to do a little performance for the Sunflower Lounge on Facebook, which was quite cool.
Yeah, that's all that. Yeah,
it was like a virtual performance, which I enjoyed that. But besides that, we haven't been able to do much, unfortunately. Like, even I look at our social media and I won't really know what to post. And I've spoke to a lot of other bands about it, and they're kind of in the same boat, where it's like, we don't really know what to do, so we're not doing anything just yet. But I think it's definitely, I think there's hope that all of this like hiatus will come to a close. Like, I am really hoping the December show will still pull off, and
we'll fingers crossed
by the end of the month. As it would be really great to get back on stage. I have really missed it. I find myself looking back at videos every once in a while, and I'm like, oh yeah, I do miss it.
Yearning for it.
Yeah.
Pining for it, and absolutely. And as a keen gig goer myself, I can't wait to get back to go into gigs. So you and I both. So all of you. So what do you do as a band then, seeing that we're in a second lockdown now? So, has that ground your rehearsals to a halt, or how are you managing to keep in touch with each other?
So we all have contact with each other via a band app that's essentially made for bands, and it's like a group chat essentially, and we can organize rehearsals and gigs all on this chat. It's very useful. And so that's really our main form of communication. I'm hoping to try and rehearse to some degree. I mean, me and Jack literally rehearsed earlier today.
That's handy, actually, isn't it? We're in the same house, so that's good.
Ideas. I can trial any song ideas I have with Jack before it makes the band, just in case there's some terrible ones. One good song and one song that wasn't quite ready for production. But we try and make it work the best way we can. Hopefully we will be able to rehearse, maybe even in lockdown, but obviously the rules are quite tight. So really, but we're hoping to keep it going. In the meantime, we'll just rehearse ourselves anyway, and then we'll come back together to,
Do you do a lot of the writing, or do you do all of the writing and just give out to the guys what they need to practice and stuff?
So usually I will write the structure along with the lyrics of the song, like the basic structure, where the song's going to go, verse, choruses, etc. Then I'll bring it to the band, and we'll all kind of collaboratively work on it together. So, for example, Jack will write his drum part, Pete will come up with his parts, Brandon will write his bass riffs. I'll maybe give them ideas and stuff, but I never really want to be the type of songwriter who comes up with all the parts, as I don't think that's as interesting. I think it's more of an enjoyable experience for everyone if everyone has a say on the song and what we're writing.
True. Everyone has a part of it, and everyone then will feel 100% committed to it, won't they? Because they want their bit to shine as much as everyone else's. It's a good way to work, I think.
I've always enjoyed that, and because I'm not always 100% right when it comes to my songwriting, so I quite like to say, hey, here's an idea, I think it could work, and we kind of go.
It sounds like you're the person who like plants the seed and everyone else helps it grow. So, you need those people, don't you? You need farmers. Is that what you call them? I don't know. But yeah, you definitely need someone to start the ball rolling. The lyrics to your songs then, I mean, they are quite, obviously, you're still only young guys. So you haven't had a lot the wealth of a worldly experience or anything like that, but they're very cute and they're very like teenage angst, but they're very happy and they're really sing along. They're really, really good. But how would you describe Karkosa's style?
I think you've pretty much nailed it quite nicely there with that, what you said there. It's quite happy, very positive. I've always quite liked writing lyrics that are motivating, as I think essentially it was always just lyrics that I would quite like to listen to. I've always quite liked motivating sounding songs and songs that encourage you and inspire you. And I've always quite liked the idea of doing that myself. Every time I write a song, I try and write something that I've heard before and do my take on it. But it's funny, even songs like Sheffield that some people have said are quite sad when you actually listen to it.
Yeah, when you hear the lyrics.
Happy. And I think that's kind of just my viewpoint on not so much life. I don't want to sound that like I'm that meaningful and have this whole idea of what life is meant to be. But I quite like to try and find a happy or positive spin.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all, is there?
I think I would struggle to write a sad song because it's never really been in my nature to write a sad song.
Oh, you've probably not had your heart broken yet. That's what it is, Michael. So until that happens, I've had a few people interviewed, and heartbreak is definitely a big influence in their writing. So it's coming. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess everyone's different, in regards to songwriting. But for me, that's always kind of like where I've came from. I just quite like throwing that along with if there's a really cool idea that I haven't tried before with a song, and so I'll throw it in there. Like The Rival, for example, the end of that song, I always kind of just wanted a cool, groovy like breakdown where it slows down a bit and everyone can nod along to the bass line. I've always wanted to do that, so I quite like it. Yeah. I like throwing out like cool ideas that I've heard in songs before, and I'm like, oh, I want to try something like that, and I'll do my own take on it through Karkosa. That's kind of like my mission behind it, really, with songwriting.
Cool. So I'm going to go around the band now, and I'm going to ask all of you, put you on the spot here now, about your influences. So I want to know who you listen to when you're not listening to Karkosa or you're not producing material or anything like that. So I've talked for a little bit to give you a chance to have an idea. So Michael, who would you say is your number one band influence?
To be honest, it changes all the time. As if you asked me that question in 2016, I probably would have told you Catfish and the Bottom, as I was listening to them. They're my favorite bands. Now I find it hard to say. I really like listening to Bombay Bicycle Club at the moment, so I'll probably give that as my answer. However, Pete literally showed me an album last night from Hippocampus, and I'm really liking them. So it might be that my influences come from them from now.
Yeah,
so
it might do.
Okay.
Thank you, Jack. What about you?
I mean, similar to Michael, mine changes a lot as well. But I'd probably say at the moment I listen to the Blossoms a lot. I really like them, or the Amazons maybe previously. Yeah, they're probably my favourite music at the moment.
Cool. Okay, Peter?
I don't know really. So my favourite band is definitely Elbow for me. I love Elbow so much, but I listen to all sorts. I really like electronic music, so I really like James Blake, like Hon, S.G. Lewis, a variety of people, and I just listen to whatever takes my fancy. I'm that type of person who has one very big playlist and just shuffles it.
Yeah, just shuffles away. And what about you, Brandon?
I'd say it's pretty generic, but my favourite band of all time would be Arctic Monkeys.
Right, nice.
But I listen to a lot at the moment. I'm listening to a lot of like synth, like indie kind of synth, like the Blossoms, Declan McKenna, Alfie Templeman, that kind of stuff. And then back like people like Rex Orange County and that.
Yeah, cool. Okay, that's brilliant. That's a really eclectic kind of like a spectrum of music taste, which is good, and but similar ones as well. So that's always good, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so your Dark Horse gig on the 12th is sold out.
It is indeed.
So returns only as I say, if any do get cancelled, let me know. Hit me up. I did try and get one that sold out before I could even log on. I was like, oh well. But that's great, because that just goes to show your fan base is still there, which is brilliant. So let's talk about Korea just for a minute, because you've got a massive fan base back there, haven't you? How did that come about?
So the Korean fan base came about through this idea that myself and my dad had, which was to build a fan base via social media. And we decided to follow fans of bands that were similar to us. And one fan who was, I believe, a fan of the Amazons, messaged us back saying, "Hey, I really like your music. It's brilliant. I'm going to tell all my friends." And obviously when you hear that, you don't really think much of it. It's like, oh, that's nice. And then next thing you know, my phone was blowing up, follower after follower from South Korea. These people had just found our bands and really liked our music, and were sending us all sorts of messages. And we were like, oh, we've got to try and find a way to go out there. There's clearly quite the following. And we were very lucky to go over there twice. And it's not quite as big now. I think it was a sort of a, come and go type of scenario, which is like fine. Like ultimately there's still a lot of fans of who are over there in Korea. I think if we were to highlight us doing things in Korea, I'm sure they would definitely show an interest again. But I think it's one of those where like they come and go.
They're very what's the word? They're very flighty, aren't they? They kind of go with the kind of best band at the time. You got BTS and all that kind of stuff. So it goes through genres as well, doesn't it? But the girls, especially girl fans, I know because I am one, they do get a little bit older, but their heart always stays with their favourite bands from when they were little.
Oh, that's very true. Very true.
I was only saying today, I had my George Michael, my Wham pictures on my wall, because I am a lot older than you guys, but yeah, it was Wham. And then it was Go West. That was the transition period. And then it just started with indie stuff. So you got to start somewhere though, hey. But no, guys, it's been lovely to catch up with you, and absolutely brilliant to hear that you're all back and reforming, not rewriting, but you're writing again, and you're rehearsing, and you're managing to stay in touch during lockdown. And I look forward to the social media reaches when you do get back on that as well. So is there anything else you want to say to the listeners of Switch to look out for in the meantime?
Stay tuned for whatever gig comes after December 12th. We're hopefully going to have another one, but just figuring out the details really. But
you need to get someone to video all of your songs, so then you can put them on Instagram, and then we can all look at it and we can all feel like we were there.
Our big headline show is actually on YouTube from On The Verge Media, if you did want to watch that. Those guys were really great, and definitely give those guys a good look, as they're a great company in the scene.
What company was that, sorry?
On The Verge Media. They filmed our entire headline show.
Oh, brilliant.
That's on YouTube, so yeah.
Cool. All right, okay, we'll definitely look that up. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. And that was a bit tricky, but we got there eventually. Okay, so we'll go back to Ben in the studio, but thanks a lot, Karkosa.
For more great videos from the week, make sure you subscribe to our channel. It's down here somewhere. And don't forget, you can catch us on the radio every Sunday between 12 and 2 on FM across Birmingham, 107.5, on mobile, on DAB and online. We're made for Birmingham. This is Switch Radio.